There's a lot that can be said on this, but the reality is this plan leaves almost $1 billion hole in the budget. Why? Because tax law in California is pretty complicated. And Prop 98 says that when you raise $1 billion worth of taxes, at least 40% of that's going to K-14 education. And because we're in a test 1 situation, and we'll have a test on Prop 98 and test 1, 2, and 3 right after this, it's very complicated. There's about 2 people in the state that understand it. But nevertheless, it puts us in a situation where you have extra money that comes into maintenance of effort. As I understand, I'm not one of those 2 people that understands Prop 98 thoroughly. But I do understand that when you have a $1 billion tax that's going to one thing and you've created almost $1 billion hole, on the other hand, you haven't solved the problem at hand. So it's really great optics. Everybody wants to help our kids except for the people that actually do the budget here and balance it on the backs of the kids, because that's what we did. If education is the highest priority, you put that first in the budget and you build the rest of it around there. That's not what we did. What we did this year is we set up the optics of we want to protect this, this, and this, and if we don't get the taxes we want in November, then we're going to whack education with trigger cuts, right? So the schools already have to plan for the worst case scenario, because whether we have a budget that works for them or not, they have to plan for the worst, which they did starting July 1st. We're already in that time frame. They have planned for the worst because we didn't plan for them. Now you come along saying, wouldn't it be great in an election year to create this optics, remember the apple pie and ice cream, of taxing those evil out-of-state businesses that do business here and help these middle-class kids in college, because we have cut higher ed so much, they've raised the fees on these kids and they need some relief. Well, we don't disagree that they need relief. But again, you build your budgets around your priority. So as Republicans, we tried to come up with a responsible way to meet this need and work with the Speaker. Now that effort failed earlier, I guess it was later yesterday now, losing track of time. But what we had, and we thought we had some working and understanding everywhere. I'm not sure why it fell apart, but here's what we were trying to accomplish. Even working with the Speaker's single sales factor, we had a way to protect health insurance for 900,000 children by supporting healthy families. Provided nearly $2 billion for UCs, CSUs, and K-14 education, significantly reducing the need for the governor's trigger cuts. We would have provided for that timber harvest plan without having to have a tax on retail sales. Would have provided important exemptions for businesses that have a large business footprint in the state, even though they're headquartered outside of the state. They're not bad just because they can't have a headquarters in the state of California, or that they have a huge footprint and create a lot of jobs. Why does that make them bad? So it would have had an effort, something to help them and give them an incentive to locate their businesses in California. And importantly, it didn't create that $1 billion hole. Now that's what we were trying to do. So don't try to paint us as the party not willing to engage, not willing to solve real problems. We think it was a much more creative and beneficial problem solution than what you're faced with now, because if you cast a vote for this, you're creating yet another big hole in the budget. And I don't know how you're going to pay for it because we're already underfunded.